Alright guys, before I get into today's video, which I'm very excited about, I want to give a big shout out to Kenrick at On Point Arms LLC. I'll leave his information down below. He helped me out a ton with this, all the logistics and everything. He talked with Laugo personally, which was really nice, just to get some information that I really couldn't find. Obviously I did my research on it for when this come out, 2019 or so about 5-6 years here coming up. But that being said, he always helps with things. He takes care of a lot of things for me. He's very personable. I find him as a good friend nowadays. And that's kind of hard to find in the firearm community. It's a little bit biased if you guys haven't noticed. But if you're looking for a little bit of the more personal touch, somebody that is, legitimately going to help you. It's also veteran owned, a small business, so I love to give those guys business. Be sure to check them out. I'll leave everything down below. Now let's get into the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. I know uploads have been few and far between. We just have kind of a lot of things going on. I will have a couple new videos coming up. A new Tipman actually video, which got a lot of traction. This is on their new 22 mag, which I was able to get my hands on. I just haven't had time to do a video. So that being said, this one, I knew I had to get a video out pretty quick because I was just so excited to shoot it, and I didn't want to do it before kind of getting a first shots reaction, just because I feel like that's what everybody wants to know. So you already know by the title, I was able to get my hands on a Laugo Alien Creator Evolution. So just the second generation. It's not the limited 500 run or anything like that. So I've been having my eye on these for a while. It was kind of one of those guns that I thought, well, I'm never going to get a chance to shoot one, obviously, due to the price tag. But a few things just ended up working out, and here we are. So I picked this up yesterday, have not shot it yet, so bear with me if my accuracy is very poor. I just kind of want to get my first shot reaction. We'll go into a little bit more of it. I know that a lot of people already know about these guns. I just kind of, it's just, in my opinion, the most unique handgun, dare I say, ever made. So let's shut up, run a few rounds. We'll talk later. Oof. I don't really know what to say. That is a bizarre feeling handgun. I'm not going to say too much yet. I want to get a few more rounds through it and, kind of get used to it a little bit. But as of right there, that is definitely one of the more unique things I've ever been able to fire. So let's load this back up, get a different view for you, and keep running some rounds. It's like it wants to shoot faster than I can shoot. I've never shot anything with the trigger like this, so I've never really ran much for staccatos or anything. But honestly, it's like the impulse of the follow-up shot when you're already, of course, resting on the trigger. It just goes. I could understand that if you ran this thing a lot, it would you could get really, really fast. And I'm not a fast shooter whatsoever, but it's like it just naturally wants to shoot fast. Let's load up another one and run a few through. No, I'll give my opinions in a bit. I just want to enjoy shooting this because this is one of those guns that I, like I said, never thought I'd get my hands on. So I'm grateful to do it. Boy, you go through ammo fast. I mean, really, really fast. That's just so fun to shoot. Honestly, getting a little warm. I know everybody kind of talks about that. Just right here, I've run a few mags through it, but right here it's a little bit warm, but it actually kind of feels good because I can't feel my fingers anyway. So, but my gosh, does that thing go through ammo quick. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that top rail up for the red dot. You guys know I'm just a piss poor shot with a red dot, but it is something I really want to get used to. Honestly, when I'm using a dot and I can still see the irons, I end up just going back to the irons, so there's no point in having a dot. But with this, when you remove this, you don't have irons anymore. I don't know how accurate the dot is, so just bear with me here. I'm going to go swap that out and see how she shoots. Bam, just like that, we got the dot on. I will say my retention pin here on the one with the optic is super hard to push. The other one I can get with just a finger push. This one I have to kind of use a little bit of a punch punch to get it out. It's not ideal, but probably just really tight tolerance, I'm guessing. So anyway, let's I'm about 12 yards away-ish or so, shooting 8-inch steel. I'm gonna see if this thing's even close to zeroed. Even if it is, I know I'm not close to zeroed, so let's just see what happens. Super awkward to rack without being able to rack the dot or anything. Obviously the slide doesn't reciprocate on top, but all right, let's shut up here. Yeah. I don't want to say I'm ready for competition, but sign me up. I'm just kidding. But honestly, guys, with the dot, obviously, as you can see, and everybody knows all these things, there's endless videos on these. I know Honest Outlaw did one that a lot of people have seen, but without the dot reciprocating, it is so bizarre when you're looking. I'd like to get a view of it. I'll try to get one behind the camera, but without it moving, yes, it moves because the impulse is coming back, so the dot's still moving, but you're not losing the sight. It just basically gets a little distorted. It's not flipping up or anything like that, so it's really easy to stay on. And like I said, I'm a really poor shot with the red dot on a handgun for some reason, but that was the most easy time I've ever had shooting with the red dot, and it should be because I had to sell a kidney to buy this. So let's load up some, I'm shooting 115s right now. I'm gonna load up some 147s, some full metal jackets, just to see if there's any difference. Obviously it's a gas system. I just want to know how it feels with something a little bit hotter. All right, so I kind of had to call it. It was getting a little bit late, getting a little dark. I started later than I wanted to. It's just I was so excited to shoot this thing. So figured I'd give a little bit of a rundown. It is clear and everything. Nobody worry here. So honestly, I have been looking at one of these for a long time, and then it kind of went away. I'm sure just like everybody else when they kind of see a sticker shock, and I don't blame you. It was just one of those things where the stars kind of aligned and I was able to get one. So I'm not going to give like a full detailed review because I honestly don't think that a lot of people are looking for a review as far as, you know, if it's something that's on your radar, you've probably already done a lot of research. So I don't want to bore you with all that stuff. We'll just kind of go over the main things that I noticed personally being a super average shooter, not a competitive shooter whatsoever. So for me personally, this thing is an absolute blast. I had extremely high expectations, probably, you know, as most would. So I almost had to lower those a little bit because in the end, it's still a 9mm handgun. But just what always got me is that obviously that bore access. I know nobody likes being flagged, but it is empty, I assure you. You know, I do have that Archon, and that's the lowest bore that I've had. It's not even close. I will do a video comparing the two since that's the closest I can get. But shooting this thing, I think the thing I noticed the most when I first shot it is how good the trigger is. It's incredibly crisp. I've never shot a trigger like this. Let's see if you can see. Yeah. So I mean, you're already hitting the wall, and you can see I just pushed that blade in, and it breaks just like that. It's insane. I don't want to say I wasn't ready because I expected it to be very good, but it's crazy and it's crisp. So if you're to put some time behind this thing, which I plan on it, follow-up shots honestly are faster than I anticipate them being. So that was really cool. The next thing I really noticed, without the slide reciprocating, I don't know if you call this a slide or whatever, but obviously I'm talking about the top not reciprocating, meaning the dot stays put. So did the irons when it's on. You honestly can see the dot 100% of the time. Yes, it still gets disrupted because of the recoil of the gun. It's not like there's no recoil. There is recoil. It's just keeping it driving back in your palm. That's what everybody said. There's no flip. I mean, of course, there's a little bit that you're going to see, right? But it's just straight back. So you can see the dot the whole time, and that's one of the coolest things I've seen, because me personally, I tend to lose a dot really, really easily. Once you have that, that impulse, it gets out of the screen, of course, for a little bit, and then to drop back. But this doesn't really do that, and not to mention that the point of aim on this is so natural and easy. So that's one thing that was really awesome. Like I said, I plan on doing a lot more with this. This is kind of a gun I really want to, put some serious time into, because I know that it would be really rewarding if you really got the hang of it. I actually, funny story, I reached out to Alien, I don't know, quite a while ago. Obviously the channel's still tiny. It's actually slowed down and growing a lot, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't. But I reached out to them a while ago. They never answered, of course. I kind of expected that. I mean, you don't really show up to the Ferrari dealer in a Ford Escort and ask for a test drive, so I didn't expect them to follow up with me, but I figured, hey, worth a shot. So I was able to get this one, and I have zero buyer's remorse. It's one of those things that I know I'm going to have a long time, and I have no plans getting used to it, getting rid of it, excuse me, just the unique factor of it. And it really, really, really feels like an extremely high quality gun. All the tolerances are tight. I mean, the trigger's insane. The stippling damn near tears up your hand, which I don't mind at all. It gives you a really good bite. And as far as, I just wanted to mention, I mentioned it earlier shooting, as far as heat goes, I ran probably over 100 rounds through it, and not one after the other, but it didn't get overly hot at all, in my opinion. So that wasn't a factor for me. And like I was mentioning, it's pretty cold out, so it actually kind of felt pretty good. So I'm going to do a more in-depth video on this. Like, I just was so excited to shoot it, and I really didn't want to shoot it without you guys seeing my first shots. Because, I mean, hopefully you guys are just as excited for something like this, because I really do believe this is the most unique handgun ever made. Obviously, you have your Browning tilted barrel, all that sort of thing. And I know that P7 was a similar concept. It's just anything in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years. I don't know. And if there is something like that, let me know. This is definitely the most unique concept I've personally ever seen. And it really shows when you shoot it. So be sure to like and subscribe, guys. I will get new videos out soon. Like I mentioned, I have that Tippmann Magnum video. That was a really hard firearm to get, so that took a while, but I plan on doing that here coming up. We have kind of a lot of things going on in life right now, so I've been slow, but I really appreciate the support, guys. Until next time.